is in this place. We celebrate it. Come on, help me praise God. Praise God today. It's good to be in church. It's better to be in church alive. It's good to be here to celebrate momentous occasions. To Mr. Woody and to the Bethlehem family and to all my father's children, good morning. Good morning. And to the honoree of the hour, Dr. and Mrs. Derek Arnold, help me celebrate them today. You know, I think about how God works and how God moves, and you never know what God's going to do. And as I just sat and witnessed and looked and listened, it's evident that God has been blessing Bethlehem for 25 years. Many people don't understand that in a pastor you have a gift. In a pastor you have a present that you open up every day. In a time where many pastors can't sit still. Bethlehem has had a pastor for 25 years. And if you don't know why you should be thankful, let me remind you. Consistency is a gift from God. Over 1,000 sermons, over 2,000 Bible studies. I can't tell you the emotional, the physical, and the intellectual toll that takes on a man or woman of God. And so we celebrate the fact that God has kept Derek Arnold. And one of the things that we take for granted is the fact that over 25 years, God has kept him in his right mind. Let me just let you in a little secret. Pastoring us ain't easy. And there's some situations that will drive an unpraying man crazy. But the saints of old used to say, he woke me up this morning in my right mind. And so we thank God he kept his mind over these years. I celebrate with this family. I have not seen the family in a long time. I was a child and I know they were kids too. But it is just so good to see how they have grown into fine young men and young women. And so we thank God for not only Pastor Derek, but God has kept his family over these years. I'm here today because my life intersected with Derek's at an early point in my life. He was a cool seminarian. He was a cool youth minister. And I was an impressionable kid. And at that time, my father was pastoring the church that he was the youth minister at. And there was this invasion of Michigan boys. And I was like, where are all these folk coming from Michigan? Amen. And Derek was a part of that crew. And he, along with a few others, Greg Maddox and Derek Williams, left such an indelible imprint on my life. That when he called and said, I'm celebrating my 25th anniversary, I don't leave First Baptist often. As a matter of fact, I was telling Derek that my father is mad at me because he got to preach today. So I don't leave First Baptist often. But when friends call, when people who have ended your life call, my mama told me that you come. And so I want to thank you, Pastor Derek, for just being who you have been. And I want to thank you that the same Derek of 25 years ago is the same Derek Arnold of today. And so we celebrate that today. The hour is long, and so it's not my day, it is Pastor Arnold's day, and I just want to leave a word in your spirit. And in the book of Esther, in the 2nd chapter, I just want to lift just a few verses. In that 2nd chapter of Esther, and in that 2nd chapter, in the 15th verse, I just want to lift a word this morning. Stand if that is your custom as we read and reference the word of God. The 2nd chapter of Esther, and there in the 15th chapter, there's a word this morning. Esther chapter 2, verse 15. Esther chapter 2, verse 15. You bound say amen. Amen. Ain't no shame in using the table of contents. Amen. All right. The time came for Esther to go to the king. Esther, the daughter of Abihail and the cousin of Mordecai, who had adopted her as his daughter. Esther was admired by everyone who saw her. When her turn came, she wore just what Haggai, the eunuch in charge of the harem, advised her to wear. So in Xerxes' 7th year as king, in the 10th month, the month of Tebeth, Esther was brought to King Xerxes in the royal palace. Verse 17, the king liked her more than any of the other women, and more than any of the others, she won his favor and his affection. He placed the royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. I'm going to tag that B portion of that 17th verse. And made her queen instead of Vashti. Right. I want to tag this text very briefly from this subject. You got there on my back. All right. Sometimes in restaurants, I see waiters and waitresses. They walk extra slow and they concentrate intently because they're walking with a tray or a beverage in their hands. What complicates the delivery of the beverage to the table is that sometimes the glass or the cup is so full that one wrong move to the left or to the right can spill the contents of the glass. All right. I've seen too many times to count unfortunate drops and spills time and time again because the glass was so full that by making the slightest wrong move, what was once full and in abundance now lies on the floor, empty, spilled, and broken. You see, anybody can carry an empty glass. Well, there's no expectation. There's nothing to negotiate. But how do you handle fullness? All right. How do you handle abundance? All right. I wonder this morning out loud, how do you handle success? All right. Oftentimes in the church, we talk about how God is a God that looks past our failure. But too often, we're silent on how to handle when we're walking in success. All right. What we see this morning in the text is not an expose on how to handle failure. But what we see this morning is an inside look on how to handle favor. Some folk have to repeatedly handle failure because we've never been taught how to handle favor. As we look in this book of Esther, we see the arrival of a young woman to a place of prestige that she's never visited in her life. Esther does not come from privilege, and she is not a child of money. But the Lord, the Bible says, has blessed her with a phenomenal beauty and an endearing spirit. To put it both literally and figuratively, she started from the bottom. but now she's here. Esther is on a serious come up, if you will, and she's at a place where she's literally living her best life. Her dreams are about to come true. She's about to be promoted from common girl to queen bee. But how she handles the promotion, it's how she handles a glass that's full that will dictate how her story is eventually told. Be not mistaken, Bethlehem, it's a good thing to know what to do with your brokenness. But it's also a good thing to know how to handle your blessing. I like that. What do you do when you pray and you pray? And Derek, after 25 years, you look up and you can testify like the psalm, if my cup runneth over. What do you do, Bethlehem, when sometimes you got to stop and ask yourself, who am I to be this blessed? What do you do when you think about where you were and you see where you are, and when you get up in the morning, all you can do is pinch yourself. Oh, God can handle your brokenness. That's not this sermon. But the question today is, can you handle your blessing? Esther has been positioned, but the question is now, can she be productive? Let me tell you something this morning. Favor ain't fair. But favor ain't funny. What am I trying to say? When you've been positioned, don't be fooled. There is an expectation that you will be productive. I think that's why when we turn over to the Gospels, we hear Jesus suggesting that to whom much is given, much is required. I think that's why a rich young ruler is reminded that if you're faithful over a few things, you'll be ruler over me. I'm simply suggesting that production must follow position. That's why you've been strategically placed in this assignment, that you're in there, because your production should always equal your position. Some folk like to be called pastor, and some folk like to be called reverend, and some folk don't do anything to warrant either, because many have forgotten that production goes with position. What am I trying to say? God did not wake you up this morning to be a placeholder or a mile marker. But you need to know God has positioned you to produce. Listen, y'all, with your own attributes and your own individuality and your own authenticity, God has positioned you to produce. I know I'm right about it, because in the book of Esther, the name of God is never mentioned. But behind the scenes, in order to accomplish his perfect will, he positioned Esther and planted her with a purpose, not just to be a mile marker, but to be a difference maker. God has orchestrated, God has instigated, Derek, for you to be where you are. There's no accident that for 25 years you've climbed the steps of this pulpit. There's no accident that you've done funerals and you've done weddings. Bethlehem, there's no accident that you go to Bethlehem. There's no accident that God has you where you are. Because behind the scenes, you need to know that ontologically God is on the job. Behind the scenes, God is producing and God is pulling the string. You want to be glad, if for nothing else, that God is always working stuff out that's above your pay grade. I mean with pride as I see Kamala Harris and Cory Booker in the mold of Shirley Chisholm, in the mold of Jesse Jackson and Barack Obama before them. I thank God, because this man and this woman, they already have a position. But they're deciding deciding to seek something greater. Because position is not enough. They decided, I want to be productive. Colin Kaepernick could have kept his mouth shut and kept his position as a starting quarterback. But he got blackballed in the NFL because he said, I don't just want my position, but I want to use my position to be productive. Bethlehem, I'm trying to tell you, you don't have to be a presidential candidate or an NFL quarterback. If after everything you've been through, the Lord has kept you, and the Lord has gifted you, and the Lord has protected you, and the Lord has been good to you. You need to know you've been positioned to produce. That is, whatever God has positioned you to do, there ought to be something in you that says, I'm going to make the most of it. And I'm not going to wake up in the morning and complain, and I'm not going to wake up in the morning and be sour and start sucking on lemons before I start my day. But if God wakes you up in the morning, the least you can do is make the most of it. Derek, you've been providentially positioned to be productive. Here's the lesson. I'm not going to hold you long. When God positions you, you've got to know when it's your turn. Well, it's in the text. The Bible says, and when it was Esther's turn. Don't miss that. Her whole life, she's been a commoner. Her whole life, she's been on the outside of the window looking. Her whole life, others have gone before her and had doors open, not afforded to her. If you remember, Esther was an orphan. Esther lost both parents when she was a child. Esther was a Jew in a foreign land, and she could not even tell anybody in the palace who she really was. She never thought about being queen, but in spite of the facts lined up against her, the Bible says, and when it was Esther's turn. Others came to the king before her. But after they had come and gone, she got her chance to walk through her open door. Y'all, she didn't have a thing to do with those that went in front of her. She could not change the performance or the appearance of those that came behind her. But the Bible says that when it was Esther's turn to go before the king, she could not dictate when her turn would come, but all she could do was be ready when it came. Her turn came regardless of what happened before her and what happened after her. And I'm simply trying to tell somebody that every now and then you got to get to a place where you understand that in spite of what you're through, God has a way of making it your turn. Is that not what we're here celebrating? That 25 years ago, Bethlehem issued a call. And God tapped Derek Arnold on the shoulder and said, my son, it's your turn. Oh, I wish I had about 5 witnesses. Even when it doesn't look like your turn, even when it might be somebody, should be somebody else's turn, God's got this thing called grace, and God will position you and set you up in places you never. God has a way of blessing you uniquely. God has a way of customizing your blessing. God has a way that when God puts it on you, can't nobody else wear it like you wear it. Can't nobody else do it like you do it. That's why I'm glad I'm here today, because for 25 years, could nobody else have pastored Bethlehem like Derek Arnold pastors it. Can't nobody else do what Derek Arnold has done. Grandma never went to seminary, but she used to say it like this: what God has for me. There, when she was talking about in her uneducated lingo, was something called the providence of God. The root of providence is where we get our English word provide. That means there's some stuff, Bethlehem, that God provides for you and I, that He foresaw, that He designed, and you never saw it. That means you don't have to worry about other people and their turn, because if you stay ready, if you stay in position, after a while, God has already worked out your turn. I need some of y'all to hear me this morning. Listen, you don't have to worry about celebrating Pastor Derek. All right? Because let me tell you something. God's got enough turns. That everybody can get one. I'm just talking to the people I'm just talking to the one or two people in here that have not clapped all morning. I'm talking to the one or two people in here who have not said amen all day. Let me tell you something. God's got so much favor that you don't have to lose 1 week of sleep. You don't have to put anybody off at their knees. You don't have to box team up and down. As a matter of fact, when it's somebody else's turn to be celebrated, you need to celebrate with them. You need to learn how to sing to God be the glory. Because my Bible says for everything there is a season. So if your turn has not come, celebrate Pastor while it's listening. And God will bless you with joy. Let me tell you something. You want to thank God for your turn. I don't know about y'all, when I was little, we didn't have all these video games. All right. We had to go outside. Right. And we couldn't come back inside until she said so. One of the things I used to remember watching when we were outside, I remember watching the girls double dutch. Yeah. See, some of y'all so delivered, y'all remember that anymore. But y'all remember double dutch. I remember the ropes were moving so fast that you had to trust the one who was moving the ropes. Let me tell you something. You don't want to get hit in the head with that big old rope. And you didn't want to stand there all day. When it was your turn, you just had to jump in. And come on, somebody, you just had to start moving your legs. And I'm just trying to tell you, when you trust the one that's moving the rules, when you trust the God who has sovereignty, dominion, power, I came right to tell you, you don't have to watch the ropes go by, but jump in, because it's going to be your turn soon. Her turn. Pastor Derek, 25 years ago, I'm glad that you knew when it was your turn. Oh, but 25 years later, here's the next lesson. You need to know how to handle your turn. Y'all, Esther, she's in home. Oh, she's shining like a diamond. For what could be the first time in her life, things are working out in her favor. That's right. Yeah, y'all, come on now. Esther went from nothing, and she has officially arrived at something. She's in the palace now. And let me tell you how good things are going. When she gets there, she catches the eye of the king. Y'all, let me tell you something. She is acing the interview. She's standing out in the crowd. She went from outside to finalist for the job of queen. All right. But look how she handles her favor. Here it is. The Bible says when it was her turn to go in, She requested nothing except what the king's eunuch advised. What am I trying to say? Perhaps there were some who got enamored with the opportunity, such that the opportunity changed them. All right. Say this better. I suspect to get the attention of the king, she had to compete with other women who were interviewing for the job. I wasn't there, but I would venture to say that she found herself in an unfavorable position. Why? Because of who she was. Remember I told you she was an orphan. She was a Jew in a foreign land. She has little to nothing to boast about on her vita and her resume. But the Bible says when she finds out it's her turn, she requests nothing except what the king's attendant advised. Given her position, she could have been a diva. She could have told everybody in the kingdom who would listen, I have officially arrived. But the Bible says she was not pretentious. She was not arrogant. She did not blow up. She did not get in her own way. But the Bible says when it was her turn, she was teachable. Come on, sir. When it was her turn, she accepted wise counsel. When it was her turn, there were others who were doing too much, but Esther handled the opportunity just right. She did not get so caught up in where she was that she could not remember that she wasn't that far away from where she had been. And I'm simply trying to say some folk can't handle promotion. Maybe not where you work, but I know some folk that in Richmond, some folk can't handle favor, and some folk can't handle abundance because it makes them feel better than everybody else. But I came to tell somebody, when God grants you grace, it ought not exalt you, but it ought to make you humble. And that's why I celebrate Pastor Derek Arnold, because the humble Derek Arnold that was called here 25 years ago is still the humble Derek Arnold that's still here 25 years later. I wish I had a witness. The flash shall be last, and the last shall be first. Right now. Just because she's almost in the palace, she doesn't let almost being in the palace change her. She don't get in there and 5 minutes later start telling them how to run the place. Just because she's doing big things, it does not create in her a big head. She's still operating in humility, and she's still operating in genuineness, and she's still operating in kindness. And Pastor Derek, I just want to tell you on the occasion of your 25th anniversary that no matter the position and no matter how high you get, just be in you. Keep on operating in kindness. Keep on operating in humility. Don't be the people that get a position and don't speak no more. We got some cousins who get a title and don't return phone. We got some cousins who, when they graduate from college, act like they graduate from you. But let me tell you something. You will not ever forget where you came from. That's why, Derek, I like old school hip hop. I don't know what they're doing today. But I like that old school stuff. I'm talking about 1998. I love me some Christopher Wallace. I know y'all was born in church, and I know y'all never listen to anything but gospel since you've been born. Let me tell you something. I love me some notorious B.I.G. So he got a way of not getting so caught up in the now that he forgot what it was all about then. Come on, I know some of y'all saved, and I know some of y'all holy, but come on back to 98, but before you got saved, and remember these words: opposite of a winner, born a sinner. I remember when I used to eat sardines. See, some of y'all just too saved. Let me see if I can talk to some people who remember way back in the day. We used to wonder why the landlord us no heat. Wonder why Christmas missed us. Okay, some of y'all remember birthdays was the worst days. Now we see something else. What are we? Thursday. Oh, I love y'all. I love y'all. Listen, I'm just trying to tell you, you will not get so far to where God has you that you don't remember where God brought you from. Just because you get a position, don't let position get in you. Just because you get some money, don't let money get in you. I wish I had a witness there. You that far from where God brought you from. My wife is a reality TV junkie, and she watches this show called My 600-Pound Life. And I watched it one day with her, and something blessed my spirit. The man on the show dropped from 600 pounds to 250 pounds. All right. But here's what blessed me, y'all. Everywhere he goes, he still carries around the genes with him from when he was 600 pounds. Somebody on the show asked him, why? You weigh 250. Why you carry around the 600-pound jeans? He said, because I never want to forget what I look like before the diet started working on me. And I'm just trying to tell somebody in here, when you get where you're going, don't forget what you used to look like before the Lord started working on you. Thank God for Bethlehem, but Derek, don't ever forget Michigan. Thank God for where you are, but don't forget Virginia Union. I can say when I look back over my life, things over, I can truly say that I've been blessed, and I can witness you gotta know when it's your turn. You gotta know how to handle your turn. I'm done with this thing. But don't you forget why you got a turn. All right. I'm done, y'all. I know y'all gotta get to lunch. Listen. What do we have here? Esther got the job. I'm not making it up. It's in the text. The Bible says the king loved Esther more than all the others. Listen, this king, and I go back and read it. It's going to bless you. This king is egomaniacal. This king is egotistical. This is the worst kind of king to be in the White House. To sit on the throne. I was Esther. I got the job, but I'm sleeping with one eye open. Let me tell you something. Everything that glitters ain't always gold. Listen, the fact of the matter is, she won his favor and his affection. And the Bible says he placed a crown on her head. Here's the translation. She went on an interview, had a good showing, and got offered the job on the spot. Listen, now she got a company car, full benefits, and a 401k. Let me tell you something. To this point in the story, it could not have turned out any better for Esther. Because after she got the job, he threw a banquet and invited everybody in the kingdom. They had a shindig, a victory party. I believe Lionel Richie said it best back in the day. When Esther got the job, they partied all night long. And let me tell you something. I ain't mad at them one bit. Because whether you get the job or not, you need to learn how to celebrate. Let me tell you something. Derek, if Bethlehem did not give you an anniversary, then you ought to be so thrilled about what God is doing that you throw your own anniversary. So let me tell you something. If nobody throws a party for you, you need to learn how to celebrate yourself. I just need about 5 people to hear me today. Some of us are growing and we still don't know how to appreciate a sunrise or a sunset. Some of us spend so much of our lives fussing, complaining, mad at the world. But my Bible says we come forth like flowers and we are soon cut down. What am I trying to say? You don't get no remixes. You don't get no do-overs. And whether you get it or whether you don't, you need to learn how to just say, Lord, I want to thank you for my good days. And I want to thank you for my bad days. Come on, somebody came to church this morning and you because you're so bad. You can't even give God praise. But you want to think about how it could have been. Listen, let me tell you something. Folks say, well, Pastor, celebrate what? Come on, let me tell you something. And Derek, as you are in your 25th year, I hope that you're stopping and smelling some roses. I hope that you're enjoying where God has brought you from. I hope that when you wake up in the morning, you need to just look for a reason to celebrate that. Bethlehem, you need to learn how to throw a reveal my body party. You need to learn how to throw a he took some folk out of my life party. You need to learn how to throw a if it had not been for the stop missing out on the goodness of God. But while you're celebrating, come on with it. There's a throwaway verse that most people overlook. Before the party, he put the crown on Esther's head, and he made her queen. Here it is, and I'm done. Instead of Vashti. Listen to me, Bethlehem. The writer intentionally said he put the crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. It's because of what Vashti did before her that we even talking about Esther right now. Oh, y'all don't hear it. It was Vashti's defiance that made the job opening possible for Esther. Y'all still didn't hear it. The crown that Esther now wears probably still smells like Vashti's perfume. Every time Esther puts on the crown, she needs to be reminded that Vashti already walked this road. Vashti already wore this crown. Vashti already lived in that palace. And I'm just trying to tell you, you didn't get here by yourself. But it's with your buddy Theron. And we were in Israel. And y'all, I had the opportunity to ride a camel. All right. And y'all, I've ridden a horse before. A horse will stop and let you get on it. But listen, a camel is different. When you get on a camel, in order to make it easier for you, the camel will lay down his whole body, all right, and invite you to get on his back. I go to myself, who would lay all the way down? So make it easier for me. Yes, sir. And I can hear that saying, party and that stuff. Remember that you got there on my back. And while we're celebrating today, I want you to remember that there's some prayers you never prayed. But there's some prayers your mama prayed. Some prayers your grandmama prayed. You want to remember that you didn't get here by yourself. But you got there on that back. I wish I had a witness in here. I did. The Lord on my side. I don't know where I've been. Can I get a witness? He offers roots, and in his office, when you would go in Alex Haley's office, he would have an odd picture, and it was on the wall. And the picture on the wall was odd because it was of a turtle sitting on a fence. People would come in and out of Alex Haley's office, and they would and be confused because you don't see that every day. But you would see it every time you went in his office, a turtle sitting on a fence. He was asked one day in an interview, was Alex Haley before he died, Alex, why is it that in your office you have a picture of a turtle sitting on top of a fence? Alex Haley said, it's because